Today's topic is really the 5 love languages. Because here's what I understand. Gary Chapman wrote a book many years ago called The 5 Love Languages, and it really spoke to how a couple could interact with each other. Like, did you like physical touch, random acts of service and kindness? Do you like affirmation? Do you like gifts? Do you like quality time? Those were like the 5 love languages. And if you were speaking a language that the other person didn't respond to, then you could do it all day long, that language, but it just didn't connect. Well, here's the deal. Your players have love languages. Some need affirmation. Some need motivation. Some need confidence. Some need to be spoken to this way. And one big trend I'm seeing in the coaching world now is I'm seeing coaches do it one way. This is my way. It's my way or the highway. Now, here's the problem. That works until a point. And so everything works until it don't work anymore. And so what am I saying to you? I'm not saying throw out your philosophy. I'm not saying throw out your methodology. I'm not saying throw out everything that's got you successful. But here's what I am saying. You need to learn to connect with the language of your players. You need to learn to position yourself in a way that connects with them. It's interesting when I went and heard Kevin Elko speak about the University of Alabama and what he counseled Nick Saban on. And he said there's one thing that we focus on at the University of Alabama, and that is a connection between the head coach and the players and each other, the players and the fans, the players and the university. When we lose that connection, the power of that connection, we don't win. Now, I want you to think about you as the coach. What players right now are you disconnected from? Because when you lose the power of that connection, when you don't have that connection between you and them, that's when they defect. Defect to what? Listening to their mom and dad, listening to this person, listening to that person. When there is a strong bond and a consistent connection between you and them because you are speaking their language, they are speaking your language. You know, one of my favorite players was Anne-Marie Lanning, and one of the things she always said to me, I always said to her, is, you my dog, girl. You my dog. Even to this day, when I talk to her and she talks to me, she says, Coach Burt, you my dog. You know why? I learned to connect to her in a way that worked best for her. How did I do that? I affirmed and validated her potential. I would say things like, you are going to be a Miss Basketball. You are the best player in the state of Tennessee. It's a joy and privilege to coach you every day. Now, did I interact with every player like that? No. Sometimes with Shea Burgess, I'd say, hey, you need to get your head out of your you-know-what. You're better than this. I'm not going to tolerate that from you. You got to push harder because I see something in you you don't even see in you. So for a coach, what is the language that your players speak? Don't build an adversarial relationship between you and your players, okay? And so for you, what are the 5 love languages? Physical touch, right? High-fiving. Do you know that a study in the NBA showed that followed multiple teams, the teams that won the most, touched the most, high-five the most, pat each other on the back the most. The players that high-five, patted each other on the back the most, won the most. There was a direct correlation between physical touch and winning. Now, I want you to think about that. So for you, when's the last time you took your players on a walk? When did you pat them on the back? When did you say, we can't do it without you? When did you say, I appreciate you? Okay? So when you're thinking about this 5 love languages, what do your players need from you? Do they need quality time? Do they need you to think about them random acts of kindness? Do they need that physical touch, a high five from you to say, hey, we good with each other, okay? What do they need? You can't buy them gifts because that's illegal, okay? I mean, there's certain things you can't do, okay? But there are certain things you can do. Now, when we come back in the second segment, here's what I'm going to show you. If you start speaking the language of your players are the geese laying the golden eggs. They will produce more for you. They'll fight for more you. They'll win more for you. They'll believe in you more. And when you get rid of this adversarial position between you and them, and you start saying, we're on the same page, how do I speak a language that works for you? Gone are the days where you just take your language and shove it down people's throat and say, do you like it or get off the bus? Because what a waste right there. And I did that early in my career. We come back in segment number 2, the final segment. I'm going to show you how to move from a defensive posture to an offensive mobility. You're watching Good Coach, Bad Coach, and I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach. Gone are the days where you just buy a book. When you pre-order my new book, Everybody Needs a Coach in Life, my 11th book, my most comprehensive book, let me tell you what I'm going to give to you the minute you pre-order. I'm going to give you 5 hours of coaching from me on the book. I'm going to give you access to Monster Producer, my biggest coaching program, online, live, every 30 days for 6 months. I'm going to give you access to my Total Growth Academy, over 400 coaching sessions. I'm going to give you 7 webinars with me where you can interact with me on every chapter of the book. Go get Everybody Needs a Coach in Life. CoachBurt.com/new book. Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt, Super Coach. I believe there's a difference between good coaches and bad coaches. If you watch my previous show, The Boss Hole, what happens? Bad coaches squander good talent, man. Bad coaches squander good talent. What do good coaches do? Good coaches take lower level resources to higher levels of productivity. In the first segment, I was talking about the 5 love languages, is that you got to get across this concept that your people need to be fed in the body and the mind and the heart and the spirit. Now, in the second and final segment of this show, I'm going to talk about how do you move from a defensive posture to an offensive mobility. And this has to do with the subconscious mind of the coach. When I see coaches, football, basketball, right? Jorge, right? Peter O'Neill. Jorge's out there in the world. Peter O'Neill's out there in the world. We're trying to get something from here to there. I'm trying to get maximum output. I want to become a master of human potential. I want to study the intricacies of how I get people to play at very high levels. I gave away Alabama's secret, Kevin Elko, Power of Connection. 5 love languages, studying those languages and understanding how to communicate with every single player. Never to build an adversarial position between you and the geese laying the golden eggs. Always to feed the sheep in the body and the mind and the heart and the spirit. And I want to end today's show on this concept. And I did this. This was a big mistake that I made many times as a coach. In the mind of a coach, or in the mind of a person, subconsciously, if you don't believe you are worthy or good enough to beat your opponent, you move into a prevent position. You move into a prevent position. And what I mean by that is you really are trying to just hold on to what you got. You're not trying to get more. And I go back to a sub-state game that I had. Okay, good evening, Tom Love. Good to see you. I'll go back to a sub-state, the very first sub-state game. And for all you folks out there that don't follow basketball, this was my first really big game that opened the door to a state tournament. I was going to be, if we won this game, it was going to be in a state tournament. Here's the deal. I didn't believe we were supposed to be there. I didn't believe it. The head coach. Sound familiar to college football coaches that get beat on Saturday? That don't believe they're good enough? Sound familiar to football teams and basketball teams that get beat in the last couple of minutes of a game? I didn't believe we should be there subconsciously. And because of that belief, once we got ahead, I moved into a defensive posture. I stalled. I tried to run the clock out, which is only what a person would do when they don't believe it. So you don't say that to your team. You don't say, hey, guys, I don't really believe we can win. And so what we're going to do is try to just run the clock out. But the minute you start stalling, and so I won this game, the whole game. I was up 14 points with 3 minutes to go, and I started stalling, trying to run the clock out, trying to hold on. Now, here's a lesson. Anytime you play not to lose, it always guarantees losing. Anytime you play not to lose in your life, it guarantees losing. And let me tell you why. Subconsciously, you have gone into a defensive mindset, just trying to hold on. It's like money, man. Tom Love will tell you this about money. Anytime you just set your money on the sideline and do nothing with it and it's not working, you lose what he calls the forward momentum of money. It's not working. It's not active. Your little troops are not fighting, man. They're gone into a bunker. They're holding. Coaches, you got to quit playing from a defensive posture, just trying to hold on to a lead that you got, man. And you know why you believe? You don't believe you can win. So it's like you wake up and you're like, man, are we up? I can't believe we're up. We're not supposed to be up. Everybody said we wasn't supposed to be up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into a prevent mode. So the big lesson here is, how do you go from a defensive posture to an offensive position, right? Jeff Wilkes, Clayton Whitaker, Belinda Shows-Aaron to Greg Wright. That's the point here, guys. Don't play the percentages. Clayton Whitaker says you got to go all in. You got to go for the glory, man. You got to keep going. You got to quit playing defense because subconsciously you don't believe. So if you're a coach out there and you're a sales coach, for example, and you try to just hold on to what you got, or you're trying to protect your money, or you're trying to, if you're a football coach and you say we need to start going into stall mode, we need to prevent. If you're a basketball coach, you try to kill the clock. You know, the only reason you would do that because you don't think you're good enough to win, man. And you know who can sense that? Your players. Your team can sense it. There's a difference between a good coach and a bad coach. Secrets the great coaches know. So what did I do sometimes as a bad coach? I went into prevent. And you know why? Looking back on it many years later, the only reason I went into prevent because I didn't believe we could pull it off. And I was almost trying to convince my own self that we were good enough to win. If you don't believe it, let me tell you who ain't going to believe it. Your team ain't going to believe it. Every week I come into your life. 2 times a month I'm doing Good Coach, Bad Coach. 5 love languages. Speak the language your players need to hear the message. Remember the power of connection between you, your team, and your clients, right? Get out of defense prevent mode, guys, especially in December, and go for the jugular, man. That's what a good coach would do. They asked Steve Spurrier once why he won that game, why he won the game 69-0. And they said, Steve, why'd you run the team up? Why'd you run the score up on everybody? One of my favorite answers of all time. Here's what he says. It ain't my job to stop me. The other coach over there is getting paid a lot of money to try to stop us. And if they can't do it, we ain't going to stop us. You got to get in this forward mindset, guys. I love you. Everybody needs a good coach. There's a difference between a good coach and a bad coach. Secrets that great coaches know that others never figure out. And here's the deal. I know some of you out there that coach may say, Coach Burt ain't in the game anymore, man. He ain't coaching anymore at the high school or college level. Therefore, I'm going to discount his value. Trust me. I'm more valuable today to you than I was when I was actually coaching. And you know why? You can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. If I could go back in a time machine and tell me what I'm telling you today, but I can't. I can't send me back to me, but guess what I can do? I can send me to you. Woo, that's a good one. We're going to end on that one. Good coach, bad coach. I'm Coach Micheal Burt. Secrets that great coaches know that the others never figure out. If you're a coach, you got to get my new book, Everybody Needs a Coach in Life, guys. $29.99 on pre-sale right now. And this is the best coaching book and leadership book I've ever written in my 25 years of coaching. You got to get it because you're going to get a bunch of stuff. Brandon's going to show you right now. God bless you and have a great week. Hey guys, Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach. Gone are the days where you just buy a book. When you pre-order my new book, Everybody Needs a Coach in Life, my 11th book, my most comprehensive book, let me tell you what I'm going to give to you the minute you pre-order. I'm going to give you 5 hours of coaching from me on the book. I'm going to give you access to Monster Producer, my biggest coaching program, online, live, every 30 days for 6 months. I'm going to give you access to my Total Growth Academy, over 400 coaching sessions. I'm going to give you 7 webinars with me where you can interact with me on every chapter of the book. Go get Everybody Needs a Coach in Life. CoachBurt.com/new book.